you're able to satisfy whatever that customer is looking for. So like I said, qualified customers doing certain very specific searches. So you can add adjectives and locations to a service to other keywords to make them more relevant and reduce competition on the keywords that you're trying to compete in. So before we start, there's some asterisks here. All of this assumes the content on your website is valuable. If you just have random stuff up there, like a lot of animations, if it's a for fun thing with no words, just pictures of random stuff, and there's no cohesion, SEO isn't going to save you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to make your website relevant to search engines. Your content comes first. Content is king in SEO. All this assumes that your website looks and feels legitimate. Again, if you have like a bunch of pictures everywhere, if it's super pixelated, if your menu doesn't quite work on mobile, or it doesn't render right when you scroll down, or there's big flashy pop-ups everywhere, people leave those sites. So even if your SEO was good, which it probably wouldn't be, Google ranks those kind of sites very low, it wouldn't save you. So just keep in mind that the design, look, and feel in your actual content is more important than any of the rest of the stuff I'm going to talk about. Citers or crawlers to manually browse web pages for text, images, and links. So it's just like a person clicking between web pages. They don't do really anything special that a normal web browser doesn't do. They just view your website and just crawl, if you will, through it, looking for to form connections between the things it finds. It documents those connections and then puts them in the database. So when somebody does a search for digital marketing in Youngstown, Ohio, it goes, hey, I saw pictures of Youngstown, I saw the word Youngstown, digital marketing was mentioned a lot, this place referenced a lot of digital marketing websites and tips and stuff like that, and their website's really fast and looks really good. Let's put them at the top. Let's serve that one first. So the biggest thing about SEO is that websites need to have relevant, accessible text, images, and links to be ranked high. If you don't have those 4 things, or rather 3 things, that are relevant, then your SEO will not work. Pretty much not work. You won't show up on search engines. You could ignore the rest of this presentation. Things must be done before your keywords even come into play with SEO. So if you think you can just put the same word over and over again on a website and have giant images that make it really slow on mobile, it's not going to work. If I link to this other website, I'm giving them an okay. I'm saying that this other website is relevant to whatever I'm talking about right now, a good quality website with good content. Same with incoming links. If a website links to you, they are affirming that they think your website has good quality content, that loads fast, and has everything that Google is looking for in a website. So having outgoing and incoming links, you need both, is very helpful. So some tips for having relevant incoming and outgoing links. Don't be afraid to link to relevant sites. For example, sources, if you have any statistics on your website, customer reviews, links to actual customers' websites, relevant news. That's one of the reasons that a lot of organizations have blogs. Blogs are really good at getting SEO because you talk about something topical, you send links out to other organizations, sometimes you get comments and those have links in it. So blogs, are a good way of essentially generating outgoing links in a format that is text, which means that a search engine can read that. But sometimes blogs don't make sense, and they take a lot to keep up, so use that at your own discretion. If you get me is referring to features for those who need help viewing web pages. It turns out that search engines actually use accessibility information in deciding whether or not content is relevant as well, because it's all text. So that means that it's way easy for a computer to look at and process. This includes what's called alt text on images, which is alternative text. It's essentially so if the image doesn't load, or if the person is sight impaired, it could describe the picture to them. That's a good way that if you have a picture of, say, Youngstown, and you put the alt text Youngstown skyline, the chances are that Google will try to rank that somewhere along pictures when someone Googles Youngstown skyline or Youngstown. You could also include titles in your links. And then lastly, a mistake I see a lot of people make is make sure that all the text on your website is actually text. Like text that you've typed in and you can highlight with your mouse on the website. A lot of people, especially when they hire print designers to make images for their website, a lot of people make that mistake. They post flyers around and flyers on their website. Or the picture that, big trouble, about 75% of web content, or excuse me, of web visitors now are mobile visitors. It might not seem like it. Like, I know I'm on my laptop all day as a web developer, and I definitely use the web more on my laptop than my phone, but it turns out that that's not how most of the world is. You could Google for it and it'll pop up right at the top there, where all you do is you put in your URL and it will judge your website. Sometimes it judges really, really harshly. Like even my personal website isn't super highly ranked, even though it loads in about a second and a half, because it's almost nothing, it's just text. But in general, the advice is something to start looking into. There's also the Pingdom website speed test, which in my opinion has a little bit better advice and a little bit more actionable. But obviously Google's the person or the organization ranking your website. You should probably look at their advice. There's also a Google mobile speed or mobile loading tool, which I did not include here, which actually takes your website URL and it tries to load it on a emulated mobile device, and will actually show you what percentage of customers, according to their data, will just drop off, depending on your load speed.
What is the one you just mentioned?
I'll have to remember, but it's like Google Mobile